Welcome to Open Mat Chronicles, 1865 Rod here. We got Harold Schaefer, as we always do.
What's up, everybody? Schaefer in the house. Yeah, buddy. So we got some stuff today. We're going to talk about some good stuff. Stuff that I actually like, that I think is interesting. Not controversial, but I think people are going to have difference of opinions on this shit.
Don't get butthurt.
Don't get butthurt, seriously.
We should preface every episode with that.
Right. Don't get butthurt. And if you do, try freaking Uncle Touchy's butt salve. Just rub that on, and it'll make you feel better.
No, actually, I don't think they should get butthurt.
I don't think so.
It's really, we're talking about what promotions, right?
Yeah.
And like the different ways that different schools promote, mainly testing. Let's hit with that one first.
Yeah. Okay. For sure.
What are your thoughts on Harold? Testing, for your belt. I know a lot of schools do that, right?
I am not a fan of belt testing. So, to me, belt testing always reminds me of karate. I remember doing karate forever ago, and you'd have to perform your katas and do this set moves that you have to be proficient at to show how you would be in this imaginary fight, right? Yeah. I don't think it translates over well to jiu-jitsu. I don't think it translates over well where you go, okay, are you ready to fight? It's like, okay, well, what if he's ready to fight? And then he's
get to your horse stance.
And then, and then like it just doesn't go the right way. Do you not promote him?
It's funny. I remember when it must have been in the 80s. I was thinking about taking a martial arts back then. And back then it was mainly karate, right? Like Korean Kempo was a big thing. If you're in Southern California, that's what everybody did. Korean Kempo. Anyway, I was talking to this one dude. He was like starting a little karate school in his backyard. Everybody was a freaking karate guy back then, right? And he's like, yeah, so we're going to get some mats and then yada, yada. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know anything. I'm like, so am I going to be doing katas? He's like, oh, yeah, you're going to be doing katas. You're going to be doing katas for the next 20 years. I'm like, oh, my God.
And he's not wrong.
I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm good.
Like, dude, I remember Hassett did Subak Do. And I mean, hell, same with Uso. Like they did that traditional martial arts.
It didn't interest me.
And it's belt tested, right? You go, you stand before the grandmasters, and you gotta show your shit.
Yeah.
So there's some schools in jiu-jitsu that also belt test, right? My buddy, he pretty much belt tests, and I remember going to see a couple people get their black belt under him. And they had to run the gauntlet, right? Not the gauntlet where they're hitting you with the belts. Run the gauntlet of show me this, show me that, show me a gun defense, show me a knife defense, show me
what do you do?
Bear hug takedown.
Gun defense, you turn around, just stuff.
Well, I mean, nah, it's shit. It's how to disarm. It's like gun disarms, Like that stuff is taught at a lot of schools still, especially self-defense schools. There is part of the curriculum that you would have to learn that, right? I think that as time progressed and people started doing it more as a sport than a martial art, belt testing kind of started to go away.
I think it went the wayside, huh?
Right, because really you're dealing with, okay, well, how does this guy hold up against other guys and, of an equal belt rank? And that's kind of become what it is.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with that. Even in the martial arts sense, I'm okay with that. I don't think you should have to go through a bunch of rote moves and memorize a bunch of stuff to go to the next belt.
Okay, so I'll throw this out, counterpoint. I'm not advocating for this. I'm just throwing out, maybe somebody wants me to ask this. Okay, what about for like your first belt, blue belt? So a blue belt should know some basic stuff, right? You should know the basic mount escapes, how to control a guy, side control, how to manage distance, things like that. He should know those basic things. So should you test him for that? And then once he gets blue, then it's more subjective.
All right. As a happy medium, I would accept that. As a happy medium, I would be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You should know a UPA. You should know a freaking a shrimp escape. You should know.
Yeah.
I could even get behind that to say, before you get this, here's a set of moves you must learn. But you know what the problem's going to be, right? It can't be universal, because one guy's blue belt is another guy's white belt 3 stripes. Another guy he's been a blue belt for a long time if he knows this stuff. It's like, it's still going to be regional. It's still going to be school specific.
But do you think like every blue belt should know how to properly control a guy from full mount? Every blue belt should know how to escape an untrained guy that got a mount on them, or
Yes.
how to side control, back control, you get the
Yes.
hooks in. So what if you just put those basic
So
moves in?
I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with that. But then again, if you want to go super basic, then you're talking the Gracie combatives. Like if you say, okay, they have to get the beginning level of Gracie combatives in order to show themselves as a blue belt. Remember, my argument has always been, can you like realistically defend yourself or take care of yourself against an opponent who's untrained,
Yeah.
upwards of 50 pounds bigger than you? Like if you can do that
But see, and here's the thing with
using
that.
jujitsu,
Yeah, I get that. But how do you test for that, though? Do you just bring in some random guy that's like 250? All right, go fight this dude. That would be
no.
awesome. That would be cool,
Okay,
wouldn't it?
here's how you would actually test for that. Okay, you would test for that, especially if you're the black belt testing him, by doing what an untrained person would do. You should have been training long enough, and you should have been against enough trained people to go, well, nobody would try to UPA. They would just grab them and they would just try to pull them over or push them over. They would, if they're mounted, they're going to try to push the guy off. They're not going to get to their side, shrimp out. So,
Oh, so you're saying the
you
black belt
mimic
acts
it.
like a white belt,
Yeah.
basically?
Yeah, exactly. The black belt would mimic an untrained person.
It's actually hard to do. It's harder to do that sometimes
Well,
because
I
your
mean,
instincts kick in so much. Like, I would
yeah,
never
but
do that.
Right. And if your instincts are kicking in and you can't do that, well, now you're asking, are you that good of a teacher? Like, are you telling me you can't dumb it down? You can't bring it to the level of the person you're teaching?
Untrained people have that unpredictability, though. That's what makes them.
Correct. So what you do is you give
Untrained.
them something that they would do.
I'll just go, ah!
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what you would do. You know what untrained people would do. You give them some of that.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that, though.
No, nobody just freaks out and yells.
Now, here's what we would do this at the school. We would say, if we had a couple blue belts, like, I want to make sure you know the basic stuff. Show me this, show me that, show me this, show me that. We've done that. And it's very informal, though. It's just,
It's very informal.
And if they pass all that, then I'm saying, okay, I'm good. At least I'll say, hey, I think this guy's ready. That's maybe if a guy's like on the cusp, maybe we don't know if he's quite there.
Right. And
we'll just give that feedback to Gus.
Yeah, and I'm
hey,
cool
he
with
knows
that.
all the basic stuff. And then when I watch him roll, he does okay against untrained guys. He can control them.
Yep.
I think he's ready.
and that's informal critiquing. I'm cool
Yeah.
with that. I like that better than a straight out belt test.
Yeah.
Like, and again, this is just me. This is just my opinion on it, man. Like, I just don't want jujitsu to be codified.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want a kata to show
Yeah.
that you're a certain belt. Because, okay, now I've done this kata. I got this belt. But when I actually roll live with somebody, I can't do it.
Yeah, but see, that could happen too with the guy that passes all the tests. He could get him in a live roll and he sucks.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so then you don't want to create, weak
That's what I
blue belts.
mean. That's the problem with a
Yeah.
kata. I can be so good at doing these rote moves. I can demonstrate them so well, but I could never actually apply them in a live roll because it's just not there. So
So no testing. So the testing gives you a little framework, but it doesn't really answer the question.
yeah, and it also does not make it like school specific because Gus actually, remember, he has a bunch of different stuff that he thinks a blue belt should have, right? And I remember going back and forth with him a few times where I'm like, man, listen, I think this guy's a blue belt. He's like, well, I don't think this guy's a blue belt. And we go back and forth because it's just a difference of opinion. It's just
Yeah.
a difference of perception. I'm not right. Hell, I was about to say he's not right either, except that it's his school.
Yeah, that makes him right.
That makes him right.
I look at both sides, but I'm kind of more embracing Gus's outlook on it lately because I think it is because what happens is if you give a guy a blue belt too quick and he just has this belt and he's not really a blue belt, you water down your school, man.
Well,
You got other guys that come in like, yo, this guy's a blue belt, really? Yeah, he can control other people, but then like everybody's mauling him, and he's not. That's a reflection of your school.
and I understand that. I understand where you're coming from with that. And I'm not saying make soft blue belts. I'm not saying
Yeah.
make blue belts who can't, adequately present themselves as blue belts. But I am saying that blue belt's an entry level belt.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, the same way I could concede on a kata type testing thing for a blue belt, I can also concede with giving someone their blue belt and saying, hey, they're going to grow into it. You know what I mean? Like, there is no hard and fast.
See, that's where it's different. Okay,
thing.
so that's where Gus does not concede on that one. He will say you're not going to grow into your blue belt.
Right.
You're going to be a freaking blue belt. You're not only going to be a blue belt, you're going to be a really good blue belt before you get your entry level blue belt. Now, maybe he'll, soften up a little bit towards those upper belts. Like if you're killing it, maybe you're winning competitions.
Right.
Okay, now you're right there at purple. Maybe you grow into a little bit, and even then he's still pretty strict. But the
Yeah.
blue belt, no, you ain't growing into nothing, dude. I like that too, because I don't think you're gonna grow into a blue belt. You need to be a blue belt, bro. You need to own it.
Right.
I mean, but then that's just me. I'm not right. That's just my opinion.
That's my
right?
point.
That's my opinion.
That's my point, man. It's like,
Yeah. But what's a rush though? We did a whole podcast. Remember what's a rush?
Yeah,
Here's the-
there is no locked in. Has to be.
I
this.
don't care because like these guys want blue belt in a year. That's just because it seems everybody's getting belted quicker today. But
And I say, which is
it
funny
took me
you say
3
that.
years to get a blue belt. I don't feel sorry for it. It's only take them 2 years.
I don't feel sorry for it either.
What is the rush?
Well,
And nothing.
I agree.
Nothing changes really, except you have more pressure on you, and now you're held to a higher standard. And sometimes you're doing the guy a disservice by giving him the belt if he's not quite ready.
Well, yeah, you could, or like I said, or you might have just given him something that spark that starts a flame that makes him do better. So it's nothing written in stone. There's always the
subjective.
what ifs and maybe this and maybe that's, and
Like
we don't have a real hardcore answer.
there
for this.
is another one though. The other one too is this. Like okay, so you talked about the black belt should know like how to dial it back and roll like a
Yeah.
wild spastic. Okay, so the reverse of that would be what Gus does. He's like, I just need to roll with you. He'll roll with you like, nah, you ain't ready. But you know what? That he's actually like he's right 99% of the time. He's right. Because
By
you
not
could
rolling
roll
with
with
him,
somebody.
you're saying?
Yeah, you could roll with somebody like, nah, this guy ain't a blue belt, dude. I could just tell you're doing this, you're doing that. You're not doing what you should be doing, or you're doing it with too much strength, with too much aggression, whatever your metrics are. You could tell. And Gus could easily tell by rolling with somebody like he could tell what belt you are.
Yeah.
If you had no gi, you could that guy's a brown belt. He's a purple belt. So there's value in that, I think.
Yes, and I agree with that too. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
It is subjective,
You
but-
go out there as the instructor, you roll with these people,
Yeah.
and you get a feel for where they should be. I totally agree, and I'm really saying if you have a school with multiple black belts or
Yes.
just multiple upper belts who can give an opinion,
Yeah.
well, yeah, then you kind of go not necessarily through consensus, but everybody should be able to say, okay, yeah, when I rolled with him, he did like
He did
this.
this,
When I
yeah.
rolled with him, he did like this.
Yeah.
See, I'm bigger than the guy. I'm smaller than the guy. I'm this, I'm that. So then you get all these different looks at how they're rolling and how they did against all these different people.
Yeah.
And you should dial it back to just a little bit above their level.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense if you go, let's see if he's a blue belt and I'm going to fight him like a black belt.
Oh no. He
It's
doesn't
like,
do
what
that.
the
No,
fuck?
he doesn't do that.
Yeah, you never do that. You got to go.
He lets you do what he'll give up position, let you get
Right.
submissions.
You
whatever.
have
He'll
to
let you
say,
do what you want
okay,
to do.
oops, look, I made this mistake. I made the mistake of a
He
day
wants to
one
see if you
blue
take
belt.
it.
Right.
Did you see that? Oh, you didn't see that arm? You ain't a blue
There
belt.
you
I left
go.
my arm out for you. You didn't take it.
And now, the hard part of that, though, the hard part of being that instructor who's doing that for them, in that student's mind, they're like, I know he's baiting me. I know he's baiting me. I know, well, man, he would never do this. So then they don't take it, right? So sometimes you honestly have to go into this and just give them the heads up and say,
Yeah.
look, I'm not baiting you. I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything. I am about to roll with you as a blue belt.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of have to tell them.
Yeah.
It's like that way they're not like, oh, man, I know he's setting me up for like this freaking flying Uma triangle.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on, dude.
But there
Now-
is value, like you said, in consensus, in number, in a way. Like if you had
Yeah.
10 black belt instructors and, all 10 say this guy's ready, then yeah, how can you argue that, right?
right.
But I'd say if you have it split down the middle, half said yes, half said no.
Yeah,
then
that's where
he
the
has to-
tiebreaker comes in.
that's the
That's where
tiebreaker.
the instructor
And,
ultimately
and
has
he's
to
going
make
to
the
hold you
call.
back probably,
And to be
And I don't
perfectly
have a
honest,
problem with
yeah,
that.
if you're getting half saying go and half
say
saying
no,
no,
yeah, you ain't ready.
then you probably err on the side of no.
Yeah.
I would agree with
Yeah.
you on that. I would agree with that. See, now this is funny because this also brings us into some of the other stuff we were talking about, which is just like, how about when you are a black belt, right? Because I know you had sent me a video, we were checking it out, and we were talking about it. We were like, oh man, what if what if like you've been a black belt, you're about to get a stripe, right? And we were saying like, well, is the stripe strictly a matter of what is it, like of time, or do you have to have some other things thrown into the mix? And my argument, well, it's not even an argument. My understanding has always been it's been about time, right? It's been about time, and you still have to be participating in the art, but you don't necessarily have to be like, setting the world on fire as a black belt, right? Like, I don't think I'm setting the world on fire as a black belt. I'm about to get my 3rd stripe.
Yeah, but you teach, though. You do a lot.
And I do teach, right? I teach, and I think that matters. I think that because I've been teaching for a while, I'm clearly showing that I'm still involved. I clearly show that, hey, jiu-jitsu means a lot to me. I'm going to keep on going. You know what I mean?
So this guy's position was, and I'm not advocating for it, I'm just throwing out what he said. He was basically making the argument that stripes are only awarded to black belts that teach, basically, in a nutshell. That's what he's saying. That's hardcore. Like,
that's super hardcore.
Oh, my God. But
he's super hardcore. I mean, because...
But in fact, no, it goes even further. At his school, if you're a regular black belt, let's say you don't teach, you just come in and you roll, basically.
Right.
You get a black belt with, like, the white bar. And the only people that have the red bar are you have to do something. Maybe you're a competitor black belt, or you're teaching, or you maybe take a student under your wing.
Right.
And you're doing something additional to promote the sport. But you can't just show up and, like, you come in late, like, I'm just going to get some rolls in and you bounce. Like, I mean, well, I think it's a little strict, but I do see a little bit. I understand his argument because I do see the guy that shows up, like, he has to roll, beat everybody up, and then bounce.
Right.
Like,
yeah, but I mean, like, but if that's what they're doing, I mean, if that's how they're training, you know what I mean, to them. So when you're a black belt, right, I don't think you don't have to exist within the same structure as someone who's being brought up to black belt, right? You've hit a terminal belt.
Yeah.
You should know how to train yourself. You should know what you need to continue on your journey as a black belt.
Yeah.
Hell, dude, you have become a master, which always sounds funny saying that shit, but black belt is the mastery of the art, right? So if you've become a master of this art, you should know what you need to train. You should know if your goal is to progress and you go, I'm only going to come in and roll. Well, that's your choice.
Yeah.
But as a master,
I did that for a long
that's
time.
what you believe you need to do.
Yeah.
Other masters might go, nah, I need to go to formal classes.
Yeah.
I need to see what this guy who's even been a black belt longer than me is teaching, or this, even if they haven't been longer, just he knows or she knows more than me about this subject, and I want to get better at it, right? I think you kind of take your training into your own hand after you hit black belt.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where it kind of gets it's that gray area because
then, like, what if a guy comes in once every couple months? Does he still get his
right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
I'm not saying
yeah.
he takes off for 3 months. Does he still get striped up? And here's the funny thing: I don't think they even care really. Once you get your black belt, most of these guys don't care.
I agree.
But some guys,
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. People hit the black belt and they're like, cool.
I'm a black belt, yeah.
I've hit this terminal belt. The stripes don't really mean shit to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it pushing.
But he makes it like, I think he wants to incentivize people to train. I'm sorry, to teach. To teach, yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And look, you know my thoughts on teaching. I always said, right, like when you're a black belt, you got to share the art. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I know when I say gotta, it's not really gotta. It's just how I see black belts, right? I'm like, man, you should be showing people shit. You should be making people better. And if you're doing it, I think it turns into a matter of how was your school structured?
Yeah.
What did your instructor? What is the guy who made you a black belt expect from you? Right? So if they're expecting that you get in there and you make people better, and that's the only way you're going to get a stripe, then that's the only way you're going to get a stripe, right? You know what I mean? It's going to be like, shit, man, I'm not going to become a 1 stripe, 2 stripe, 3 stripe black belt if I don't get out there and teach. Or the other might be like, hey, if you won't at least stay active, regularly training, regularly coming in, you'll never get a stripe from me.
I think that's more common, the active
I
part.
think that's
I don't,
way more
I think, in fact, I've never seen a school that did the
Forced you to teach?
Yeah, forced teaching.
Nah.
That's
Me either.
weird.
But I'm sitting here thinking, right? And I mean, John's had, shit, I don't even know how many black belts he's made now. It's probably a good 20 or so, 20 something. But I was number 10. And I know that he expects me to at least stay active to be
Yeah.
striped. I happen to teach, so okay,
Yeah.
fine. And then I'm thinking my boy Joel, he freaking teaches too, so that's fine. And then JP, he teaches, he still teaches at Hassett's.
Doing a podcast count as being active.
Yeah, so I'm like, holy shit! Now I'm like, wait a minute. I guess all my guys are teaching still. Damn.
No, there's more to it. Okay, so the other guy, he even said, if you're like a black belt, he doesn't want his students calling that guy coach or professor or nothing. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
nah,
yeah.
you're not a coach, you're not a professor. You just come in here and fight.
Right.
You're a student.
And I get that
It's
too.
hardcore,
right?
dude.
It is hardcore, but it's like,
goodness.
I guess.
What do you think
it's-
about that? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. What do you think?
If you're a black belt, you just come in and roll, because we get a lot of guys to do that, right?
Absolutely.
I kind of miss doing that, you know. I really do. I'm being honest.
Yeah. No, that's legit.
I still teach once a week.
No, you cheat.
Kind of like twice
at least
a week,
two a week, dude.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely one solid day a week.
Yeah.
But when I go in on Monday, I go in as a student. In fact, I tell Gus, I say, hey, Gus, I can't be Uki. He's like, why? What's wrong? You okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, dude. I don't want to be Uki because I come in
you
here
just
to
want
learn.
to watch. You just
I
want to
wanna-
watch.
Yeah, then I
learn
can't
the
say anything.
technique,
It's like,
and then you go.
yeah, if I'm going to invest my time and come in here and doing the whole class, I want to get something out of it, right? And he understood it. Yeah, okay, cool.
That's
I got
legit.
more guys. Yeah, so I like to be a student. So I'm not dissing those guys. But what are your thoughts?
No.
Should those guys be called coach, professor, if you're just a black belt that you just come in and roll?
So I'm actually going to say no, they should not.
Are you
I
old school?
don't think you're a coach or a professor if you don't coach anybody
Or-
or teach anybody.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like,
What do you call him? Hey, what's up, Mr. Black Belt?
No. Wow, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask this.
fuck.
Do
Do you
those
put a
rules,
handle on it?
do all those rules apply to them? You know how last time we were talking about, oh, don't ask black belts. Well, like, you know how we were kind of like, there's some
Right.
reverence applied to sometimes.
So what if you're not a coach?
What if
you're
they're not a-
professor?
yeah,
You
does
want to
that-
get out there and fight?
Does it apply to you? Just
Damn.
don't
So
know. We're
now,
opening a can of
now
worms now.
you're making me rethink this.
I
Maybe
know.
we should be giving out white bars.
I don't know. So like a white bar means you're just a, hey, I'm still a black belt.
Just some dude.
I'm just a black belt student. I come in here and fight. The other guy's like, I'm a professor, I'm a coach, I teach. You know, you're gonna go to that guy maybe if you have. Well, you can go to both of them for quite. They're both to have knowledge.
They both have knowledge.
Yeah, but the other
then
guy is
would
just-
the other one even put himself out there to teach? Or is he going to be like, nah, man, you just talk to it. I mean, I guess almost
know,
nobody does that. Nobody, if you ask somebody.
Oh, they're not gonna help you.
Yeah, whoever goes, no, I will not freaking help you. Nobody does that. But what do you call them?
I don't know if
guess you just
people. You know
call
what's
them
funny though? I
just,
think
"Hey,
people
you," with the
organically in
face.
our school, do they call them professor or coach? I don't know if they do. I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
They don't.
And you know what?
They've organically just.
I think only the white belts and kind of maybe some of the blue belts do that whole coach or professor anyway. Like I think,
I get a lot of guys that do it.
but at purple belt,
Yeah,
do you?
yeah.
Huh.
It could be either one. It could be coach, professor.
Fuck. I gotta check now, dude.
Don't say that. Yeah. What do you think they call you, Harold? Hey, Harold. Do they?
Yeah.
No, I don't say that.
Dude, so okay, 'cause here's
I haven't
why.
heard that.
Here's why. John always had us call him John.
Oh.
And,
Doesn't matter to me. Do whatever. But I'm just saying what I notice.
Yeah, maybe I haven't noticed it. I guess
Yeah.
I gotta now. You're gonna make me pay attention. But watch now, everybody's gonna do it on purpose and shit. They're gonna be like, "Hey, coach. Hey, coach. Hey, professor."
Professor Shaver.
I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." Yeah, I was like, "You guys never did this shit before," so now I gotta check. Okay, so do the brown belts call you that?
I don't know.
Right? Nah, dude.
Maybe not.
I don't know, but that's why I'm saying. That's why I asked, do any of the purple belts that you can think of? Like, you don't have to throw out the names, but you can think of some purple belts who call you coach or professor.
Yeah, I can think of a couple.
Okay, and there it is.
But I was teaching a lot though at one time
Yeah. No.
because I was doing Wednesdays and Fridays, and we do.
I can think of a couple people who call me coach, but that's it. Man, what do you guys call your people, man? Like, are they coach? Are they professor? Do you just call them by their name?
Hey, black belt.
Black belt.
I had one guy call me. Yo, I had one guy. He called me up like, "Black belt, what's up? Black belt, come get it."
That's funny.
Remember that dude? He was that MMA guy, that fighter guy, cool guy.
He
a
just
purple
called you black belt?
Yeah, he's a purple belt.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's got black belt. Let's go, black belt. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's cool
He did one,
too.
and one time I was like, "All right, let's go." Then.
Yeah, see, because this is all
brought it.
it's all super informal. Like jiu-jitsu, for the most part, it's very informal, and it's funny, man. Like I don't know, I always
was
just
being
have
silly.
fun. Yeah, I think most people when they do jiu-jitsu, they just kind of get into that silly atmosphere.
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
they're not taking themselves too seriously, and I also noticed most black belts don't take themselves too
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
Now there are some.
Yeah.
There are some. And I mean, you can see it if you watch on the internet. And sometimes you see a guy.
I think I we're talking about.
Yeah, but not even just him, right? Like, I've seen guys where, I would say, like, check your ego at the door and shit. A lot of people, even at black belt, can't do it. Like, they get upset. Like, let's say I'll give you an example. They see a guy who maybe comes to their academy and he's wearing a belt and he's blatantly not that, right? Like he has no technique. Like I've seen these on the internet.
I've seen that happen
where
before.
a guy he's a white belt at best. He'll walk in with a black belt, or he'll walk in with his black belt in karate or whatever, and think it translates, and want to be kind of like addressed and approached like a black belt. And you'll see the instructor lose his shit. And he'll like smack the guy, or he'll just like throw the guy like way too much of a beating, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're gonna respect that belt. Take that off. You don't ever come in here with it. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
I know you take your jiu-jitsu seriously. Respect. But
What do you do?
do you beat a motherfucker's ass just
No, you don't beat him
because he put a belt on that he wasn't supposed to?
We did have a guy. I think this might have been before you were here. We had a guy that was he came in as a purple belt, and I was a blue belt at the time, and everybody, I swear the guy was a white belt, and everybody knew it. It's like, dude, there's no way. Like I
Right.
would maul this guy. I'm like, bro, there's no way I'm beating a purple belt, because back then I think I had just got my blue belt. Like
Yeah.
I would not be beating a purple belt back then. And it wasn't just me; it was everybody. And Gus even knew it. But like, what do you do though?
Well,
Gus not gonna, he's from
yeah.
another school.
What do you
He can't
do?
take his belt.
I guess
Well,
you
actually,
could,
wait,
you
maybe
could have a
you can.
discussion.
You know what though? That the same guy, regarding the black belts. If you're a black belt and you go to his school, you have to wear the white bar initially until he
Right.
checks you out. I say that parenthetically, and then you pass muster, and then he'll give you the red bar.
All right, so
And that's subjective. So basically, he's saying your coach could have been wrong, man.
right. So now, okay,
could
so
be wrong.
right, great example. So let's make this hypothetical school that I run.
crazy.
Right? If I'm running the school, and we're all decent there. Like I said, we're not setting the world on fire, but we do good jiu-jitsu. It's cool. Guy shows up, purple belt, brown belt, whatever. Comes in through the door, and some of my blue belts, they're just dragging him, right? They're just freaking stomping a mud hole in his ass left and right. Well, do I then get mad and go, you disrespected the honor of blah, 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 and then I got to throw him a beating? I got to whoop his ass? I got to what? I got to fucking decimate him and then fucking talk shit? And I'm like, you never cross this threshold again unless you wear this white belt.
No,
Or,
but
no, wait, or
I gotta get one for you.
do I just go, hey, man, hey, let me holler at you. And then
be like,
go
"What's
back to
up?"
my office. No, I'm saying after class.
Yeah, he's like,
after
"What's up?"
class. And I go and I just talk to him after class. And
What
I
are
go,
you gonna say?
I'm like, well, dude, where did you train?
He's
what
like,
was your
check it out,
thing?"
man. They gave me this test. They said, can you control
Right.
untrained guy?
There you go.
I
So,
did.
Well,
Second
no,
round.
but as a brown belt. Remember, I said brown
I'm
belt.
just
I said
kidding.
brown
Come
belt.
on, man.
So yes,
Okay.
if it's a blue belt, I kind of go,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe you're just an okay.
When getting a
mediocre
blue belt goes bad.
Right.
I can't.
Right. But if you walk in with a brown
A brown
belt,
belt, that's inexcusable.
right. And I'm like, okay, or God forbid, a black belt, right? Do you just beat his ass? Do you just freaking just whoop on him until
No.
you go, I bet you'll never come here and do that shit again?
No, I don't think we
or
do
do
that.
you just have a conversation? Like,
But what do you say? Do you suck? You can't like.
Well, not even necessarily that you suck, but how about this? Hey, so, and this is after class. It's like, hey, before you leave, man, can I talk to you? It's like, oh, yeah, cool. So he comes in. Everybody else, get the fuck out of here. You know, everybody's leaving. And you just sit and you talk. You're like, all right, so where did you train? It's like, and you keep it real. Say, the reason I ask is because maybe you've had a really, really long break and you were not performing, in my opinion, at the level of black belt. It's like, look, you were rolling. You're going against some of my blue belts. They're not like super hardcore competition blue belts. They're good. I mean, because we put out a good product here, right?
Wait, you're saying black belt?
I'm saying a brown or a black
I was gonna
belt.
say, yeah, black
okay.
belt's a different conversation.
Okay, fine. Let's say he's a brown belt.
Okay.
And I'm like, you were having a really, really hard time with some of my earlier belts. Now this is also guessing that he's like not like 90 years old, right? Like he comes
There's
in,
no
he's like
obvious
35-year-old guy, something like that. Let's call him 35, right? 35-year-old wearing a brown belt, decent enough shape, right? And I'm just like, tell me about yourself, man. Like, what's going on? Because I'm going to have a hard time having you here as a brown belt, especially if you're going to train here regularly as a brown belt.
What do you do though? Do you
Well, it depends on how the conversation
you can't
goes.
demote somebody.
So he goes, if he's like, well, yeah, I got my brown belt under blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not that hard to check someone's lineage.
What if it's legit? What if he actually got it?
Then
And he just
I call and I talk to his instructor. Okay. I'm like, hey man, tell me something about this guy. But I'm not going to freak out. Like I'm going to beat you up.
But like, what if their school just had really, really low standards and just gave it? Then what do you do?
There we go. So if his school has really, really, really low standards,
Which is rare too.
It's super rare. But we're making this hypothetical fuck up school basically, right? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so you're a brown belt at your school? I'm like, I don't know that we would be a good fit for you.
Oh, you wouldn't let him train?
No, I would say I don't know if we'd be a good fit for you.
He's like, well, I came here to learn. You guys make me better.
Listen, I don't know if we'd be a good fit for you because if I bring you on with this brown belt, it just doesn't mesh here. It's not even close to what we would consider a brown belt.
I wonder if
level.
that's happened before.
I'm sure.
It happened at our school with that purple belt.
He
He ended up leaving. But he just got beat up every round, every roll.
Right?
And he would just look demoralized. When we line up, we're like, are you serious?
And
bro?
I
You got
don't
a
want to
purple
demoralize
belt?
anybody. I don't
All
want
of
to
our
put
white belts just mashed on you.
Right. I don't want to put anybody through that. So I'd be like, and then here would be the really hard thing. Would you consider coming back in as a lower belt? Because that would suck, dude. Like, because if you flip it and you ask me that, I'm like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Not going to happen. And then I go, I understand. I respect that. I just don't think you're going to be able to train here. And that's a hard thing. Like, so I'm going to give you a fucked up story. So I run an adult education facility, right?
Yeah.
I've been basically a principal, executive director, whatever, for like fucking almost 2 decades, like 17 years. And I remember we used to have people, dude, I remember a long time ago, we had somebody who went in through our GED courses, a grandmother and their granddaughter both graduated together from our GED courses, right? And that was awesome, dude. It was so cool. Like they went to class together because grandma dropped out for whatever reason, forever ago. Granddaughter dropped out for whatever fucking reason, but they finished together.
Cool.
Fast forward some years, we started getting funding through different freaking grants and entities, and they were more labor focused. If you want to come and get your diploma here, you gotta be looking to work where you're getting job skills, blah 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 blah. So now this was years later, had another grandmom that wanted to come take classes, but clearly said, but no, I don't. I just want it because I just want to get my diploma. I don't want to take this and get a job or anything like that. And I had to break this old lady's heart and tell her basically, you can't come train at my school. You can't come to our school because you don't fit who we're here to help. So that would be kind of like the translation to this brown belt. You come in and I go, we just can't have you. I can't have you in here wearing that belt. It would not fit.
Yeah.
And that would suck, dude. But sometimes people got to do shit that sucks.
And that's very rare too. If anything,
That was a rarity.
I've seen the opposite, where people come in, they're really good. You know, maybe they're stuck at purple and they've moved around a million times, and you know, because then you have to start all over again each school. You know,
Fuck yeah.
so
Like we got
if
our
anything,
guy,
I've seen that.
I'm not going to throw his name out, but we got a guy here. He's like,
Yeah,
he's
and he was
probably-
solid. I'm
he's
like,
probably
this
a
guy
black
should
belt.
not be a purple belt by
like-
any means. Holy crap!
Yeah, shit happens. But you know what? You know why that happens? Usually it's because they bounce from school to
That's
school.
what happened to him. I
And it's
think
like he moved 4, 5, 6
Yeah.
times, usually military guys.
I think he's military.
Yeah, so they move so much that every time they get here, they're like, they get
new
to the new
school,
school and they
gotta check
go,
you out again.
restart.
Yep, reset.
And it's like, wait a fucking minute, how many restarts? Well,
Yeah, you've had like 3 or 4 resets.
that's a kick in the ass, man. That's a kick in the ass. Because now that I've been reset so many times, it's like, when the fuck will I ever get my belt?
Yeah.
And that sucks. So, I don't know. Once again, goddamn, you know, it's always the same thing. We never actually really come to any conclusion with anything, and that's fine. We're just talking. We're kind of putting it out there. If you think that katas should earn you a belt, tell us about it. Oh, damn. I was about to say, can I say it?
Go ahead.
Can I talk about it? Like, I
What is
mean, okay, so I think most Gracie schools are awesome, right? Like, to be perfectly honest, right? I'm under a Helio Gracie lineage. They're cool. I thought one of the things that the younger brothers did, and you know what? Maybe they'll freaking shoot me an email one day and tell me and explain it to me and say, oh, well, fuck you. This is why we did it. Those mail-in fucking, like, correspondence courses to get your blue
Are they
belt,
still doing that?
I don't know, but man, that felt
That's
like
all
such
bad.
a kick in the balls.
Yeah, that was bad.
I was like, wow, really? I'm
You
like,
mean the
so
online
you can
academy, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
You're
that's all
telling me
bad, dude.
I can get a belt and never
roll.
roll against anyone?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I also have an issue with some of the celebrities that don't roll with the
You're right, they
general.
do privates.
If you just do privates, like, you're really good against this one guy because you're only rolling against this one guy. What about when this guy rolls against you and you're like, whoa, he does some weird shit, but you never experience it because you don't put yourself out there. So I think promotion in isolation is a bad idea.
They should have a celebrity competition. All the celebrities fight each other.
I think Al Bundy would kick all their asses.
Al Bundy, Tom Hardy's pretty good. I think.
Okay, well,
He's pretty good.
Damn it! All right, fine.
Who else you got?
Bane is going to win.
Bane.
Obviously. Bane
Keanu,
always
where's
win.
Keanu?
He's a brown belt, I think now.
Keanu Reeves.
I think he's either. Wait, no, he might be. No,
Maybe a
he's
blue belt.
he's a blue or purple. I was thinking Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher's he
Yeah.
might be a brown belt now.
He's a brown belt.
yeah.
But you
He's-
know
I
who
think
else
he's-
is like a fucking brown belt or something right now?
Who?
I think her purple. I should
that
even be
girl,
laughing.
this
This is
girl.
fucked up.
Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato.
She's a brown belt.
I think some crazy shit.
Come on.
And you know what, man?
I quit jiu-jitsu.
Listen, Demi Lovato might be like a fucking assassin. For
No,
all
she's not an assassin, dude.
okay, but I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. You're trying to help her.
I am. I'm trying to hype her up. Listen.
Okay,
maybe-
what about
maybe she's
Zuckerberg?
right. Who?
Zuckerberg.
He's like a white belt.
He's a white belt, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly a white belt.
But he's got enough money that he can fucking get there, man. He can train constantly.
Yeah, but see, look, here's the thing. Money's not going to make you necessarily
No.
better in
But
jiu-jitsu.
money gives you the ability to
That's why I like
spend
jiu-jitsu.
your time the way you want.
Yeah, I get it.
Money is freedom when
But-
it comes to time.
But at the end of the day, you can't buy yourself technique.
No.
You can't buy new genetics. You can't
cannot
buy new
buy that,
heart,
no.
drive, all the things that make a champion a champion.
But you can buy
You can
as
buy
many
time and
classes as
trainers.
you want in time.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're willing to be dedicated to do it, well, you can be super dedicated, but you got a family to feed, or you can be super dedicated and you've got money to blow.
But
And
you could be the guy that has nothing, and so all he does is train.
Yes, you
He's
can also
he's
be
a
that.
gym rat.
And-
Every
yep.
7 days a week,
Right.
he got
But
nothing.
he also lives out of his car.
lives
and
out of his
freaking-
car,
or he
whatever,
lives
dude.
down in the
He's a
fucking-
freaking world champion.
was-
then he makes some money.
He lives in his car down by the river or some bullshit.
Yeah.
There's the old Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could be that too.
Yeah.
Right. And those two could be equally dedicated.
That's why I like jiu-jitsu, because honestly,
Oh,
it nullifies all of those sometimes those societal advantages that people have, like social economic advantages.
You can come.
You could be
to
a doctor, a
jujitsu.
lawyer, a guy working as in a restaurant, washing
Absolutely.
dishes. It doesn't matter when you're on the mats.
For sure. You can see
Run what you
the
brung.
entire spectrum of,
Yeah.
of cultures in jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. You get, doesn't matter your political leanings or whatever, like you'll get polar opposites and they'll
Yeah.
have a great time together
That's true.
in jiu-jitsu. So that's
true.
awesome. Hell yeah. But you know why they do that? Because no matter who you are, if you're doing this shit right, jiu-jitsu will be important to you.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, when it's important to you, you find a way, even if you don't agree with the person you're rolling with. And hopefully you're not an asshole and you're like, I'm going to hurt them because you voted for the person that I didn't. Hopefully you're not like that. And if it's not important to you, you'll find an excuse.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, wait, here's your excuse. You didn't vote for the fucking person I voted for, so I'm not going to roll
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, now
So
we're
I'm gonna
enemies.
quit jujitsu
Yeah.
because fuck all that. Yeah, don't be that guy.
So what I want to know is, do black belts necessarily get their stripes based on time, from what you guys have heard, and what is it? It's so subjective. Do you train 3 times a week? Can you come in once every 3 months and still get a
Right.
stripe? What are you guys seeing out there in the real world,
Hell
out in
yeah.
the field? Because I really don't know. I have never heard about the way that the other guy does it.
Right,
Where you have to be an
having to
instructor.
teach.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. And I mean, I can only speak anecdotally, but then when I just thought it out, anecdotally, all the guys I know getting stripes do teach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Could
So
be.
I don't fucking know. I promise
You know what
you
it might
this.
be, though, too? I wonder
I'm
if
going
it's
to talk
this.
to John when I see him.
I wonder if it's this. Okay, the guys that teach are maybe they're more vested in that part of it, and they want the stripe more because, like, oh yeah, I want to be able to get the stripe to show it. Where the guy that doesn't teach, he doesn't really care about the stripe. Because think
Right.
about the guys that we have that they don't care about this freaking stripe.
But
I have guys
then
that
we
are,
had guys get striped up at
they're like,
our
I don't even
school.
care. Oh yeah, here's my stripe. Thanks. They don't care.
Right. And then, yeah, see, that's,
You know what I mean?
that's a
So-
weird thing, too.
But the
That's a weird
instructors,
thing,
I
too.
want to put these little instructor bars on and my little stripe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even have the bars on mine. I don't do it.
No?
Nah. I guess I should technically,
should.
right? Yeah. Probably
Yeah.
should.
Look, it's on
I
our-
had 'em on there. I
It's
took
on
'em
our
off.
logo behind you.
Yeah, I know. I had them on, and one fell off, so I took them off, and then I got to put them back on, though. I'll probably do it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was because I stopped teaching gi for a while, so I just took everything off. Yeah. So, but now I'm back to teaching, so
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm liking the gi.
You-
again.
you
I have
were
a
just-
love-hate relationship with the gi.
You just went to a different journey. You went
Yeah.
on. You went a different path for a
Dude,
little
I've
while.
had a love-hate relationship with the gi since I
know.
started. Right now, I'm in love with the gi.
Exactly.
I hated the gi. We were divorced for a while, a couple months ago. Now we're back together for a minute.
There you go.
Probably going to split up again.
You're reconciling.
But you know, that rash guard is it's reliable. It's always there. That rash guard never leaves me.
Yes.
Anyway, you
The
guys,
ra- the rash
hey, man,
guard never
if you
leaves
like
you.
it, you made it this far, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Definitely share it out. We appreciate you guys. And we'll get some more content going to you guys coming up here soon.
Hell yeah.
Anything else, Safe? Are we good?
Nah, dude, this is awesome. I'm going to find out the answer, though, when I go a couple weeks. I'm going to go.
We'll have, we need a whole podcast with answers.
Yeah,
No more
oh,
questions. This will be the answers podcast.
The answers.
Yeah.
Question and answers. Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be good.
That'd be cool.
All right,
But yeah.
everybody. We will check you guys out next week.
Us.